Greetings, one and all, thespians, ignoramus, and general people of the earth. Welcome to the first podcast of the Clitz conspiracy. You may have seen some of my YouTube videos, courtesy of Don Falasco. They got up, I released them in about 2012, 2013. They got up to about, I'll say maybe, I haven't checked it in a while, but I think they got about 200 views. And I checked the statistics, and I got views in Hong Kong, and I got one in Spain. So I'm a global name at the moment. And so what is this show? What is this? Well, this is kind of an addition to the YouTube channel that I've got, as well as my blog. So the Clitz conspiracy. It's unearthing everything that you cannot see, I see. Do you see? Everything that you don't know, I know. Do you know? So what I'm doing, I'm unearthing through these so-called conspiracies, because these are not really conspiracies. We call them conspiracies, conspiracy. But what these are this is the truth I'm gonna give you. Okay? Look, what I'm basically talking about when I talk about conspiracy in our society, in our Western culture, what I'm really talking about is the Illuminati. Now, most of you have probably heard about the Illuminati through, I don't know, social media, or I don't know, YouTube's definitely grown it. The idea, or not really the idea, but the you know, getting it out there that the Illuminati is something real. You know, YouTube's helped a lot to get to spread the message that this is a secret. So what it is, look, okay, let me just break it down. Okay, so this is the Clitz conspiracy. Okay, welcome. Welcome to the Clitz conspiracy. So, as I was saying, what the Clitz conspiracy is it's a show. This is the podcast add-on to the YouTube. I've already said that. This is alright. So basically, I'm unearthing. I've said that as well. Alright. So, if you're listening to this, you're already probably a big fan of mine. So I don't need to win any supporters. I've already got a very strong base of followers of, Alegi, people who are following my word and taking my word as, not as gospel, but as something important to. So look, before I get sidetracked again, alright, so who are the Illuminati? Who's in the Illuminati? Well, how did the Illuminati start? That's the big question. Well, today's podcast, we're going to be looking at that. What else are we going to be looking at? We're going to be looking at some news, okay? Some big things have happened in the Illuminati in the past week. David Bowie passed away. Very big Illuminati man. Alan Rickman, his films were Illuminati propaganda, such as Die Hard, and of course Harry Potter, which is, I have to admit, I am quite susceptible to the wizardry in Harry Potter, but it's a part of me where I like Harry Potter, but I know that the wizardry is part of the Illuminati's. They deal with magic. the Illuminati. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So I'm a big fan, but I'm not a big fan at the same time. It's kind of weird, but I'll explain it later. Illuminati also, are they training monkeys to set fire to villages in Tibet? We'll find that out as well. The Illuminati are very dangerous, and they do a lot of crazy things. I've also got a new segment. Well, this is the first podcast, so everything is brand new technically. But I've also got a segment called Debate Mate, and that's either the debate ... mate, like as in oi mate, or the debate, mate. But it's a working name, so we could change it next week. I keep feeling like I've got a co-host. I don't know. I keep feeling like I keep pausing like there's gonna be someone talking, but it's just me. It's just me here. You know, I'm fresh out of my shower. Just had a nice little bath or shower. I don't know. Can't remember. No, it was a bath. It was a bath. Feeling good today. Did about 20 press ups in total today. So feeling pretty lively. What else? I don't know. I ate an orange today that was suspiciously bitter. You know sometimes when you eat an orange and you're like, I don't know how long you've been in the garden or how long you've been in the fridge or wherever you keep your oranges, but you know, it was suspiciously bitter, and I am thinking very strongly of going to Sainsbury's and talking about how long do they keep their oranges out, because it's not right, you know. I keep getting sidetracked. What was I saying? So yes, welcome. No, I've already said that. Alright, well, before I get sidetracked again, I'd just like to thank this podcast is being brought to you not only through Podomatic, which is a great free, I think it's free. I don't know, I might be doing this and it might just be going nowhere. Well, we'll find out. I think it might be free, I'm not sure. It'll hopefully coming through Podomatic. If not, I don't know how you're listening to this. Maybe you're aliens or maybe you're people from the future, and you're listening to the wisdomic words of a genius, but you don't know it because you're in the future. Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked. You can't tell that this is the first podcast I've done, can you? You know. Anyway, this is also coming. This is also a Don Falasco production. I'd like to thank Mr. Don Falasco. We can't reveal his identity because this podcast that I'm doing, this series that I'm doing, it's not just the podcast, it's the channel, it's the blog. You know, I've got books coming out. It's exposing a lot about the subculture of culture. So it's very, it's very daring. It's very daring, and it could get a lot of people hurt. So Don Falasco will remain anonymous for forever, really, because of his association. But I've met him. He's a wonderful man, very polite. He gave me some chocolate when I met him. He said, "Look," he said, he's a very big fella as well. He's like, "Look here, Philip. I have been under the cosh too many times by these Illuminati scum." He calls them. He's up front with me. He calls them Illuminati scum. He's like, "I've been under it too many times with the Illuminati scum, stopping all my plans, stopping all my ideas. I've got big ideas, and you, my son, you'll be able to help out, and I believe in you." So he gave me some Ferrero Rochers as a welcome, as a thank you. I don't know. But he's put some money into this. He's helped buy me some new lenses for the show. He bought me this microphone, which I'm using at the moment. And and he bought me the Ferrero Rochers, which, you know, I don't really like them. I don't like the nutty taste, but, you know, it was a good welcome. He's a great man. He is a fantastic man. So yeah, I'm proud. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Don Velasco, for being able to help me get this out there. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into it. So, as I said, this episode, it looks at who indeed are the Illuminati. And, I mean, who are they? So the Illuminati is basically, it's a society within the society. However, this society, so our society, we see before us, but controlling our society, controlling economics, controlling I don't know, every film industry, food industry, travel and tourism, basketball, football, and as well as the paper industry. And you know, they're very covert, you know, and they have been deeply ingrained in our society for centuries, and I'm talking centuries. I mean, really, if we want to get really technical about it, they technically go back millennia. Yeah, we're talking ancient Egyptians, we're talking Babylonians, we're talking Jesus here, we're talking about the whole lot. Okay, everyone that you know that is a major figure in your life is somehow connected to the Illuminati. Fact. There's no way around it. Okay? Jesus, Moses, Jesus' dad, forgotten his name, Jesus' mum, Saint Mary, I don't know, Albert Einstein, Benjamin Franklin, Nelson Mandela, all of them, Illuminati. Okay? Why? Why is it? Why do they feel that they need to control every sector? Well, I'll tell you why. It's women. Women. That's why. That has been really the paramount thing that has been pushing our society and making the world go round for millennia. But not just women. I don't want to be sexist here. But also money. Money and women. Combination of the two, you know, they are interchangeable, and they have very strong links. Again, I don't want to be sexist, but it is true. Okay, so that is one aspect of it. However, there's a lot more critical details that have happened throughout history. Excuse me. One very important landmark in the history of the Illuminati is, in fact, the creation of America, and therefore the creation of the Masonic lodges and Masonry. I'm not talking about Masonry making a horseshoe or some bricks or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Masonic lodges. Now, in a Masonic lodge, what it would be a group of individuals secretly coming together, and basically, doing some very odd rituals, very ritualistic, and basically making sure that they created a brotherhood. Okay, in this brotherhood, they would help each other out, you know, in society. So, say if person X had a job in I don't know, making pork chops or something, I don't know, he would then he had person X has person Y and Z to pick from for an opening in his pork chop butchery making place. He would pick, and say person Z, no wait, sorry, so person X owns the butchery, and person Y, so yeah, person X owns the butchery, person Y is in Masonry like person X. So person X and person Y, okay, let me explain this again. So basically, For example, say if there was a shoemaker. No, wait, but that links to masonry. Okay, say say there was a man who had a job, I don't know, giving horses names. Alright? Say there was a man whose job was to give horses names, but he had an opening in his horse giving name. I don't know if that's a real job, but for example, it could be a job. I don't know. It sounds like quite an interesting job, actually. I think I'd be pretty good at it, I don't know, you just open up a newspaper or watch the news or TV, and then you just name it after different sentences. I don't know, the sticky goblet, or the cheeky chappy. But I don't know. That's too clever, because that's like, if you got like an adjective before a noun, and that's too clever, because like in horse names, I mean, they're all over the place. Turn the page 6. That could be a name. Mark the point on the graph. That is a name in horse riding. So anyway, what was I saying? Alright, so person X, he owns horses and he names horses, but he's got an opening. And person X, who owns the horses and names the horses, he is a mason. Okay? What he would do, and this goes on to today, what he would do, he had an opening, say person Y is a mason, person Z is not a mason. He would choose, even if person Z had been naming horse, his dad was naming horses, his granddad was naming horses, he's the best horse namer in the land. Got everything on his curriculum vitae, everything's done. He's the best horse namer in the world. He would be chosen over person. He wouldn't be chosen over person Y. Would be chosen over him, because he is a mason, and the man who is given a job is also a mason. So this is how masonry works. They call it a brotherhood. Really, it just sounds like a bunch of gay men. Excuse me, I'm not being homophobic, but it just sounds like a bunch of very I don't know, men with unusual habits, we may say, coming together and shaking each other off. You know what I'm saying? So, regardless, after the creation of the America, after the Declaration or whatever was signed, masonry became a big thing. You had George Washington, he was a mason. Benjamin Franklin, he was a mason. Some other guys, I don't know, they were masons. A lot of people who signed the Declaration of Independence were masons. Okay, now their first mission, when they set out to build this society, was really they were good. They were trying to be good people. They were hoping that if they came together, they could then help build up medicine, help build up science, help build the technology for the future. So they were good men. I'm not gonna knock that. However, a few renegades, as I like to call them, and I hate to say it, but Mr. President, the first president, Mr. George Washington, was in fact of one of those renegades. Okay, he was, and he helped to inject the first spirit of the Illuminati. Now, what the Illuminati is, and it's a blend of Masonic rituals and Masonic ideas and Masonic secrecy and Masonic control and Masonic brotherhood with black occultist magic. Okay, and this magic, as I was saying, dates back millennia. Okay, we're as I said, talking the Egyptians, talking all that stuff that happened in Iraq, around that region. I don't know what the hell it was called back then, Mesopotamia or something like that. I don't remember. All of that stuff, even in Asia, all of that stuff, black magic, Africa, black magic, not being racist. But this was also brought into Masonry. Why? Why did they bring it into Masonry? Well, I'll tell you why. And it's not women this time. Surprise, surprise, it's not women. It's because in order to control people, because this is what it was all about. In order to control people, it needed a marriage of the Masonic ideals and the Masonic methods with a black magic. Now, black magic and occulticide and Masonic rituals and Masonic traditions coming together, blending, you know, it was a sure thing, you know. And this is the society we live in now. It's cultivated, you know. It's cultivated now after hundreds of years since then. It's cultivated. It's burrowed deep into the society of Western culture, deep, and it's this festered, you know. It's been living. It's a detritivore, you know. It's a saprator. It's sapratov. It feeds. It feeds on the bottom of our society, just growing until it just takes over. And that's what it's done. Okay? So, where are we at now? Okay, so fast forward 500 years. Everyone that you, as I said, everyone that you hold dearly, who's in entertainment, whatever, I don't know, some guy that you like, I don't know, some businessman or something. Or, I don't know, some guy who wrote a book that you think, oh, he's a nice chap. They're all guaranteed. They're all in the occult. They're all in the Illuminati. You know, it is really something that is completely, it's in complete control of our society. There's no way out of it now. I sometimes I feel defeatist, you know. I feel like, is there no way out of this? But then I think, you know, what am I thinking? Philip, get flipping hold of yourself. You're here to help. You see the light. You see the light that other people don't see. You know, every time you see a Rihanna video, you see it. Every time you watch a new film by Adam Sandler, you see it. Every time you look at a billboard and you see someone covering one of their eyes, you see it. And here's another thing. The imagery, it dates back thousands of years. It is closely linked. It's all there in order to control your mind, to control your spirit. So you are subjected and you are subjugated. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm going to use it anyway because I'm in such a passionate mode right now. You are subdued into feeling and doing what they want you to do. And when I say they, I mean the people that are controlling what you're doing. Alright, let's go to a break. Remember, you can always catch me on flipping loads of stuff. You can catch me on Twitter at The Clitz Conspiracy. You can catch me on YouTube at The Clitz Conspiracy. You can catch me on Polymatic at The Clitz Conspiracy. All you gotta do, really, is just type in The Clitz Conspiracy, you knob. Alright. So, had a nice little break there. Sorry about that. I was getting very passionate, very flustered. Alright, because I feel so passionately. You know, I feel so passionately about what is going on in our society. For centuries, we've been under a control, you know, of shady businessmen and politicians that are doing deals that we don't see, that are controlling our lives, you know. I feel like Neo in the Matrix. I mean, I'm not taking the mick. I do sometimes. I feel like I see the numbers. You know, I am the one. The chosen one. I feel like that. You know, well, anyway, I hope you're all feeling salubrious at the moment. I definitely am not. I had a little bit of a cold earlier this week. Body body started aching as well. I think it might have been a flu, like a proper flu. But I don't know. I've got resilience, you know. I've got thick blood, as they say. Thick, very thick blood. Anyway, what's been in the news? So, big news last week. Big news. Whole world in shock. Mr. David Bowie, third David Bowie. I'm pretty sure he's the third. He was so connected in the Illuminati. I'm pretty sure they didn't just make him third. They probably made him God. God rest his soul. He passed away last week. I hope his condolences go out to his family. However, there is now, I mean, there's a bit of like the thing is that everyone thinks David Bowie, what is he? An alien, a Martian, Ziggy Stardust, all that glitter and shit on his face, all that. That's what they think when they think of David Bowie. Oh, and he's a singer and an actor at some point and directed, whatever. You know, people don't realise that behind that very effeminate face was in fact one of the paramount propagandists in the Illuminati. He had very strong connections in the Illuminati. He was a very big fan of black magic. He was a follower of a Mr. Aleister Crowley. If you've not heard of Aleister Crowley, I would suggest you do some reading in it. He was one of the top Illuminati men, you know. He was in the Order of Seven, I think it was. He was in one of the orders. I think it was the Order of Seven or the Order of 11. Anyway, Aleister Crowley, he wrote a few books. One of them was the Antichrist Bible, and you know, I didn't get time to read it, so I watched a documentary about it, and it is gruesome. It's gruesome, and basically, David Bowie loved this man. He loved him. He was a stern follower of his, and you can find in a lot of David Bowie's work, in a lot of his music videos, his films, a lot of Illuminati imagery, a lot of interstellar kind of like alien voodoo pharaoh wacky stuff. All of that is Illuminati imagery. You'll see again and again and again, pharaoh hats and all that type of funny stuff. The all-seeing eye in a triangle. That was David Bowie loved to show eyes and stuff. He showed his eye a couple of times, and it was, you know. Now what's happened? David Bowie's passed away. There is a gaping hole now in the Illuminati. There is a huge vacuum in the Illuminati. Now, you might think, great, this is a great thing. All of my fellow followers, you might be thinking, fantastic, one down. How many other unknown numbers to go? Thank God. No, this vacuum is a dangerous vacuum. Imagine, if you will, the sun, but it's not a sun. It's a black sun. Not to be racial again, but it's a black sun. Imagine you poked a giant hole in that sun. Yeah, this sun that is a black sun, so it's not a type of sun that gives us energy. It's opposite sun. It's an opposite black sun that sucks energy out of the planet. Imagine you pop a hole in that. What you think's gonna happen? You think, oh, thank God, that thing's gonna go away. No, it's gonna suck the air around it. It's gonna find anything to fill that void. Anything. And a lot of people are trying to step up right now. I'm hearing a lot of names in the entertainment world that are trying to take David Bowie's place in the occult. As I said, he was very high up. He knew a lot of people. A very influential man. I'm hearing a lot of names at the moment. I'm hearing people like Jay-Z. Mr. Sean Carter. I'm hearing Sean Carter wants to get up there and take his place. I'm hearing other names. I'm hearing Richard Gere. Richard Gere is also very big in the occult. You might be thinking, wow, had no idea. I thought he was a big fat Buddhist. But he is actually thinking about being next in line for the throne. However, the most startling news after David Bowie's passing, the most startling news was Alan Rickman's death. Was he hoping to be part of the occult? Was he trying to? I mean, he is also, as I said, everyone that you know who is famous is in the occult. Was he trying to take Bowie's position? I mean, I know that both of them were, the media tells you that they were both passing. They were both in the process of passing away for a long time. That's what the media tells you. Again, the Illuminati controls the media as well, so you can't trust it. These men really, I mean, when it gets down to it, and they want to take the position of dominance in the world, they suit up, buddy. They have real fights, and I'm talking real fights. They dress up as Templar Knights, and again, I'll talk to you about Templar Knights another time. If you can't wait until another podcast, just go read about it, type it into Google or something like that. They dress up as knights, and they have full-on fights, buddy. They have full-on fights, and it can go on for days. They can get other people. It turns into like mini wars. They get other people involved. It's crazy. It's like who has the biggest army, and they have these giant fights in the middle of like Antarctica. Usually, it's like the most secluded place to have a secret war. So that's what they do. But anyway, enough about that. Rest in peace, Sir David Bowie and Sir Alan Rickman. They were great people. Shame about the Illuminati stuff, really, though. Shame. Real shame. They could have used their power for good. He had a beautiful voice. Anyway, moving on. More news. Illuminati training monkeys. Why would they train monkeys? Especially to firebomb villages. I don't know. This one's, I got this one from, what's his name? Let me just see his name here. I got this one from Senor Pinata, Ding Dong 29, and this is what he writes. He writes, "Dear Philip, I found out the other day that the Illuminati's gone too far with the animals. I know you're a big animal lover. It is true, Mr. Ding Dong 29. I am a big animal lover." He writes, he said, "Well, I found out that the Illuminati are taking monkeys, strapping them with fire bombs, and throwing them into villages, in which the village people will come to try and play with the monkeys, and in turn explode in a fiery mess." Now this is horrific. I mean, to really baffle someone, to bamboozle someone into playing with a monkey so they can get firebombed. I mean, my God, if this is true, Senor Pinata, then they're stepping it up a gear. They have no shame. No shame. I mean, and if he's right, it's been reported in several countries, including Tanzania. And Tanzania is a beautiful place. I've never been, but checked Google Images one time. It's a beautiful place. And he says even as close as villages, mainly deserted villages, but villages in Spain. Even as close as that. I mean, I'm in an undisclosed location in the United Kingdom at the moment, but that is spine chilling. That is very close to home. I don't want to think about how close the next firebomb might be. It is wow. All I can say, ladies and gentlemen, is careful which monkeys you play with. Because you never know. You just never know. Anyway, let's move on. So, as I said, new segment today. The debate, mate. As again, I'll say it again, clearly. The debate, mate. So, it's a bit like checkmate, actually. Now that I think, I quite like it. I might keep it. It's a bit on the cheesy side, but I do like it though. So what we do in this segment is we get a question sent in, and basically it's like quite a challenging question. I have to pick pros and cons on both, but I stand firm. I'll usually, because I'm like that, I'll stand firm on one side, but I'll observe the other side. I'm a bit like an essay writer. You know what I mean? When I talk, I'm like an essay writer. I'll stand on one side firmly, but I will, I'll show you the pros and cons, of what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's just get into it. So this one, I've not had anyone send in any questions really at the moment, apart from Senor Pinata Ding Don 29, who sent in that piece of news. So the only question this week is actually from my mum, Mrs. Clitz, and she writes, can we live, and this is a very good question, can we live in a world without oil? Can we live? And she writes, P.S. Will you be finished with the show by 7:30 if the EastEnders is on? Alright, I will be finished by 7:30. Time I'm looking at now is 6:45. I should be. I've got to edit. Regardless, don't worry, Mum. I will never miss EastEnders with you. I love you, Mum. So, can we live in a world without oil? Well, the answer is yes and no. Okay, I'll give you the yes. Yes, we can, because we are human beings. We're adaptable. We're very soliloquists like that. We're very intapious. We're very collaborative society, very collaborative species. I mean, we can adapt to change. We lived without oil before. We could live without oil again. Yes, we can survive. But no, in the sense that the Illuminati don't want you to think that. I'll tell you why. Because they've bred people to believe that oil controls our world. It doesn't. My lights, for example, in my house, they're not controlled by oil. Have you seen anyone use an oil lamp in the past 100 years? I don't think so. There's plenty of things that could run, trust me, that can run without oil. So, it is all Illuminati propaganda to make you feel that you are dependent on this, and then therefore do and obey anything that they say. We don't need oil. I'll take it right back to the these men and women, some women as well, these men who control us in our society, they are direct descendants of the Collegians. And the Collegians, they lived about 1,500 years ago, in the middle of where they were like just above Turkey, wherever the hell that is. I don't know, Russia or something. I don't know, wherever's above Turkey, but they lived there. And the Collegians were a very ruthless race of people. Basically, they controlled most of the desirable, essential commodities in the region. Okay, I'm talking spices, I'm talking water, I'm talking, those long Arab dresses that they were probably wearing. They were controlling all of that, and basically, the people didn't realize at the time that there was actually a cheaper source to the south in Turkey, that they were able to get. However, the Collegians had brainwashed their people so much with such propaganda that they couldn't live without these products, that they were only buying from the Collegians. The downfall of the Collegians was, in fact, a man named Amush. Now, Amush, I'll get into that another day, but basically, Amush was like a superhero. I'm big into my superheroes. Anush was, I don't know, he was like a mix between Iron Man and, I don't know, Black Panther. He was a bit of a cheeky chappy, and he befriended the Collegians, and then he opened up trading routes from the south, and then he blindsided them, and then brought in the Mongolians out of nowhere, and the Mongolians ended up massacring and taking over all of the Collegians and wiping out the Collegian name. But somehow the name of the Collegians still lived on. Some of the descendants escaped, I'm sure of. I think they escaped, and they helped to build what we now call the Illuminati today. Anyway, so I mean, all this stuff, you can read it in a book by Mr. what's the name? Johnny the Willie Weiner. Johnny Willie Weiner, who was, in fact, he was a former porn star, but before that, he was in the Navy SEALs, and he worked his way up to become like Sergeant Major or something in the Navy SEALs, and from then on, he was recruited into the Illuminati, and he exposes a lot in his book called The Mask Beneath. It's a small book. It's not long to read. I haven't had time to read it, so I watched the 6-hour documentary on YouTube about it. But it's very hard to find. It is very hard. They keep taking it down. Oh, and that's another thing. I forgot to tell you that the Illuminati control YouTube, and this is why most of the things that I'll put out on YouTube will probably have some sort of, some way in order to avoid detection. I haven't figured that out just yet, but trust me, they will not be. I'll get the word out there, and I'll make sure that no one takes those videos down. You mark my words, mate. You mark my words. So yeah, no, you check that book out. It tells you all about basically how the Collegians controls that area with that, and as I said, it links into oil. Links into, it's like complete parallels into our world and oil now. It's scary stuff. World goes in cycles, like Michael. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Next time I'll delve a bit deeper, give you a few more things. Always check me out on my Twitter. I've got my Twitter page up. It's the Clitz Conspiracy. At the Clitz Conspiracy. You can check me there. I'll be tweeting all the time. about, I don't know, about everything Illuminati. Sometimes I might talk to you about my lunch that I've had, but that's if it's interesting, like say the orange that I got from Sainsbury's earlier today. Again, you can check out the YouTube channel Don Velasco. Check out my YouTube channel, the Clitz Conspiracy. You're gonna get all the uploads there. I've got two every week. I'm gonna be coming out with 2 videos. Got the Clitz Conspiracy itself, and then I'm gonna be coming out with CC News, which is basically any updates in the Illuminati every week. So watch out for those. And to end this episode of the podcast, this very first episode of the podcast, I got sent in by a very angry young poet. I got sent in a very powerful poem about the Illuminati, and I really think you'll like it. It's it's very hard hitting. It's got such angst. He's said that he wants to remain anonymous. In fact, I do know his name, but I will respect Jamal's identity. Though you shall remain anonymous. I will call him the Angry Young Poet. How about that? It sounds nice, doesn't it? It has a nice ring to it. Don't worry, I'll trademark it. Alright? So to play us out, to read us out, is the Angry Young Poet.
The Illuminati is real. I don't care what you believe. It's there when you breathe and it's there when you sneeze. It's there when you pee and it's there when you sleep. I look up at the sky and I ask the Illuminati at night, big eye in the sky, could you buy me some new Nikes? Some fresh new dunks, so I can scare the punks? Or some banging Jordans, so people won't ignore them? It's like every time you get up, they put you down. Tell you to smile when you really want to frown. Say your prospects are looking up when they're really looking down. Now they got you in and out of the job centre like an effing clown. But this ain't the circus. I know they can't murk us. 'Cause I went out and made my own money on the street, selling that white so I could put 90s on my feet. I'm standing firm. I'd never have to retreat. Now that I got my Nikes right here with me. Blah. Yo, why don't you check me out?